Once the capital of Vietnam, it rose to prominence as the capital of the Nguyen Lords, a feudal dynasty that dominated much of southern Vietnam between 17th to the 19th century. A city full of history, culture, and local culinary delights. In this episode of One Last Stint, we find ourselves in Hue, Vietnam. After wrapping up at Hoi An, Lyvonn and I hopped back on board the Reunification Express and headed on to the ancient city of Hue. The trip on board the train was not much of a looker, but if you keep your eyes peeled outside the train carriage, you might just find some consolation in the amazing views in this leg of the journey. Now, there are two main reasons why visitors would come to the ancient city of Hue. First, to visit the royal tombs of the Nguyen Lords, and secondly, to visit the Imperial City, somewhat like a smaller scale of the Forbidden City of China. Our first order of business in Hue was the royal tombs. There are a total of 7 tombs, however they are all scattered all over the outer Hue city, and some can be quite inaccessible. Hence, we opted to go with a tour operator instead of a self-drive option. The city of Hue is littered with tour operators, and all of them speak relatively good English. Our tour took us to 3 popular tombs, which are Minh Ma, Tu Duc, and Khai Dinh. Each of these tombs have distinctive features, and along with it a good deal of history, which our tour guide seemed to have no lack of. The first of which was Emperor Tu Duc.
Now I understand that Tu Duc was actually only 153 centimeters tall, and as a result of that he made his mandarins, or rather the statue of the mandarins, much shorter than they normally would. Now standing side by side with these mandarins, they look pretty darn cute, don't they?
Now, despite his rather small appearance, Emperor Tu Duc was the longest reigning monarch of the Nguyen dynasty. He was an emperor who enjoyed the finer things in life, and this is certainly reflected in the intricate and architecture splendors. Then there is Emperor Minh Ma, the emperor who endlessly seeked balance, order, and control during his reign. His final resting place perfectly reflects his approach in life. Every building, every hillock down to the ponds that flanks the structure in the perfect balance of symmetry. Emperor Minh Ma never completed his final resting place during his reign. He passed away just several years before the construction was fully completed. His son and successor, Emperor Tu III, completed Minh Ma's final resting place. The most notable artifact was the inscription or biography of Emperor Minh Ma put in place by his son. And finally, there is Emperor Khai Dinh. His tomb is by far the smallest in terms of surface area, however, it was no less impressive. Emperor Khai Dinh's tomb was an impeccable blend of both Western and Eastern architecture. It is possibly one of the most well-preserved one as well. Everything about this tomb spells luxury, and the elaborate design details is probably only a small reflection of Emperor Khai Dinh's lavish lifestyle.
You know, when in Vietnam, there's one indulgence that you must definitely have on top of the typical ban zeros or furs, and that is the Vietnamese coffee. On a hot day like this, Vietnamese coffee with a bowl of ice, definitely the way to go.
Whilst the other tourists are taken on a shopping excursion, one can opt to stay behind and just rest those weary feet in a local cafe and over a cup of ice-cool Vietnamese coffee. For those of you who haven't had Vietnamese coffee before, it's a special blend of Vietnamese coffee beans which smells a million bugs. Prepared using the traditional Vietnamese coffee filter and allowed to drip into a cup of condensed milk or not, that's entirely up to you. But the end result is the same, a cup of perfectly brewed coffee. Fully rested, we made our way to Hue's Imperial City. Like an ancient fortress, the Imperial City has got a moat and high defensive walls surrounding the entire complex. both of which are astounding, but none compares to the amazing architectures and sights that beholds when you enter the Forbidden City. While some portion of the Forbidden City is reduced to rubbles, some of them are still well preserved and marvelously restored. It's definitely great having a tour guide around in Hue. Not only do they get you to the attractions, but they are also knowledgeable and proud about their heritage. As we wrap up day 1, we took a 45 minutes boat ride down Perfume River. Now legend has it, in the autumn, flowers from orchards upriver from Hue fall into the water, giving it a perfume-like aroma, hence the name Perfume River. Now, did we get a good whiff of perfume? Well, no. Nonetheless, it is a great opportunity to rest your weary feet and just step away from the busy Hue town and just observe.
You know, it's way past the heyday where Hue was the capital of Vietnam. However, there's one title that it's still holding right now, which is the food capital of Vietnam. So no trip to Hue would be complete without trying one of the emperor's feasts, in this case, what we have right in front here. It's absolutely beautiful, and this intricate carvings that we see here, it's professionally done.
Well, be it the royal menu or royal banquet, judging by the looks and presentation alone, this restaurant definitely gets thumbs up from both Lyvonn and I. We can't help but feel as if we are browsing through a sushi catalog when the food starts arriving one after the other. Well, we spend the remainder of our afternoon feasting on an 8-course menu whilst looking out into a rather serene but less aromatic Perfume River.